What's going on, everyone? It's your boy here, and we are in day 7 right now of the quarantine. Wow, how do we survive this coronavirus pandemic without sports going on? Well, thank God for the NFL and the Philadelphia Eagles keeping us busy, because the Eagles have given us some news to talk about here. With the NFL free agency, the Eagles are the only thing that's going on right now. So today, guys, to start off the coronavirus State of the Union with all 5 teams here in Philadelphia, we are starting with your very own Philadelphia Eagles. But let's get this started, shall we? I think so. That is right, guys. Welcome, everyone. I am your boy, El Parcero Philly, your favorite parcero here in the beautiful city of Philadelphia, uniting all through sports and culture. Quick reminder that El Parcero Philly is a proud member of PSN Philly Sports Network. Head on over to phillysportsnetwork.com to find all your needs of Philly sports during this crazy times of a pandemic. Everything from the Eagles to the Philadelphia Fusion, PSN's got you covered. And of course, guys, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell button for notifications to help your boy grow here. But that's right, guys. We're going through day 7 of the coronavirus pandemic. We are staying inside, keeping clean, keeping nice and sanitary, cooking up on some food, trying out some new recipes, you know what I'm saying? But during this process here, the Philadelphia Eagles have given us something to actually talk about here. As we all know, there's no sports going on right now, unless you're a NASCAR fan, or if you're a Liga MX fan, or a fan of the Argentina Super League, which I know none of you NFL people are soccer fans. But the Eagles have really given us something to talk about here, and I wanted to do this Corona State of the Union. Just look at where each Philly team is at this moment during the stop of sports, and just look at where we at and where can we go? What do we need to do to bring back another parade down Broad Street? And today I wanted to start with the Philadelphia Eagles because it's really easy. The NFL is the only sport that's really open for any action right now, and the Eagles have made some news here. So let's start off with what's going on right now with free agency. Let's look at this Eagles roster right now, and where are we looking at going forward here? Now, starting off here, we cannot discuss any free agency news with the Philadelphia Eagles without starting
with the upsetting news that Malcolm Jenkins is no longer a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. It is correct. The Philadelphia Eagles have agreed to not pick up the option for Malcolm Jenkins for the next season, meaning he is a free agent. We all remember Malcolm Jenkins' final words in the locker room cleanup after the Seattle Seahawks wild card game loss, and essentially he said he ain't coming back on that same deal that he signed back in 2017. Well, he put his money where his mouth is, and the Philadelphia Eagles did not pick up the option, allowing him to become a free agent. And the Eagles, at that moment, said, we're not paying you what you want right now. We all know Malcolm has been a stud for us. Since 2014, he has been one of the best free agent pickups in Eagles history. We don't have to go through all the accolades, but the important parts here is the leadership he brought. The aggressiveness.
Malcolm is no Brian Dawkins, but he is as close as we have to Brian Dawkins all time here. The way he would play with his emotions on his sleeve, it was very similar to how Brian Dawkins played. And Malcolm Jenkins' versatility is really what we're going to miss. The fact that he could play essentially 3 positions out there on the defense for you. He was our starting safety. He could play cornerback. He played cornerback in college. He played a lot in the box as a linebacker. Because of the whole, and the emergence of the slot receiver, he was able to cover that position. And we're just going to miss that ability of him playing all those different positions. Not to mention, he was big on the run defense as well for the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's definitely a tough move here, and it's tough to swallow. But at the end of the day, are you guys willing to pay $14 million for a 32-year-old safety who has been durable? Yes, he has played a lot of snaps throughout the last couple seasons for the Philadelphia Eagles when we had a lot of players go down, but come on, guys. It's not going to last forever. He's not going to play every single snap for the next 3-4 years. So paying him $14 million a year, hoping that he stays healthy, hoping that he is still in the same form that he's been giving us for the last couple of years, it's a little bit of a gamble here. A little bit of a gamble. But, okay, he's gone, and it's been announced that he's more than likely going to re-sign with the New Orleans Saints. So he's going back home to the Saints where he started his career, which is, kind of bittersweet because, I want to think that Malcolm, when he retires, is going to be an Eagle. But now that kind of raises that question. But that's not what we're here to talk about. So with Malcolm essentially going to New Orleans, what do we do now with the safety position, you ask? Eagles for right now seem to have an option to go with this season. They have re-signed Rodney McLeod on a 2-year, $12 million deal, $6 million a year, and have re-signed your boy, the Green Goblin, Jalen Mills, to come back, not as a cornerback, but as a safety. And he's coming back on a 1-year deal, $5 million. So now you're looking at potentially Rodney McLeod and Jalen Mills coming back as your safeties next year. That's $11 million on your safeties right there. $4 million less than what Malcolm was asking. So Howie right there, although he's getting rid of a fan favorite, he is already making a move that is beneficial as far as a salary cap. We don't know if this Rodney McLeod and Jalen Mills combination can work back there in the safety position, but you are spending less. And really, guys, what it's going to come down to is what you do at the cornerback positions. Jalen Mills is able to, contribute in the cover and even contribute as a safety. I think a move back to the safety position will work for Jalen Mills here because, at times, Jalen is just cannot cover guys one-on-one, especially when you're talking about, from the 20 to the 20-yard line. That is where Jalen Mills has been getting killed as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think the move to the safety position can be beneficial. However, it's not set in stone. It is a possibility that he can play the safety position, but if the Eagles want to go out and get a Ha-Ha Clinton-Dix, then you can put him at the safety position and you can move Jalen Mills out back to the corner. We are hearing the rumblings that they are really going to go after Chris Harris as well. They are one of the front runners, but we will see. Nothing is set in stone there. And of course, Logan Ryan is out there as well. A very productive safety for the Tennessee Titans, a local boy here from Voorhees, New Jersey, Eastern High School graduate. Eagles could possibly look at him to bring him back home. And then again, you could put Jalen Mills back out at the cornerback position. And also we are hearing rumblings of Xavier Rhodes. Now, if you ask me, I would like to sign Chris Harris as a cornerback for one of the cornerbacks this season. And I would like to find another cornerback in this draft here this year. And we would have a competition. Sidney Jones did show you something at the end of last season. I know his time with the Eagles has not been very memorable, but let's remember that he was a solid contributor at the end of last season. Rasul Douglas is still on this roster too. I don't think Rasul can start on the outside, but he can be a rotational guy, and he has a knack for intercepting the ball. Avonte Maddox essentially is going to fill that role there at the slot corner. All right, the other big move that the Eagles did in this free agency period thus far is signing a defensive tackle from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Javon Hargrave, and is already a fan favorite with his tweet he put out a couple years ago, essentially saying that Cowboys fans suck. So he already is becoming a fan favorite. He gets the rivalry already, as you can clearly tell. Now, Hargrave, this is a solid signing for the player that we're going to get. He did play in the 3-4 with Pittsburgh. They are also very well known for using that 3-4 scheme, but let's not forget that when we signed Tim Jernigan, when we traded for Tim Jernigan a couple seasons ago, Timmy was coming from a 3-4 defense as well, and he came here to his 4-3 defense. And despite injuries, he was he contributed very well for us, and he was a solid defensive tackle. And I think Hargrave is going to fit in perfectly as well. And again, it's very crucial that you have a nice rotation in the middle there of your defense. Now you got Fletcher Cox, Malik Jackson back healthy, and now Hargrave. You have a very nice interior defensive line. And remember, guys, in today's NFL, with all these quarterbacks throwing outside the pocket as much anymore, it's all these quick passes and such. You need that push up in the middle. You need to stop the run, which the Eagles have done successfully over the last couple seasons, and you need to get a guy who can get a sack in the middle. And we already have Fletcher Cox. You need to relieve some of the attention that Fletcher Cox brings. So I love this move. Now, where people find the controversy with this move is the fact that my man Hargrave got paid. He got fucking paid. 3-year, $39 million for a guy who was essentially a rotational guy for for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But like I said, the guy comes from Pittsburgh. You already know that in Pittsburgh, especially with linemen, he's coming from a legit culture, a winning culture, even though Pittsburgh hasn't really been winning lately. But still, the fact of the matter is, he's coming from a good environment. He's going to come into Philly where we know the locker room culture is very strong here in Philly. So I like that aspect. And you pay for what you're getting these days. So a little high, the price tag is a little high on this defensive tackle, but we will see if this Howie Roseman move can pay off. Of course, the Eagles did re-sign Nate Sudfeld. He will be back for another season. And the question here is, do the Eagles really think that he can be the backup quarterback behind Carson Wentz? Clearly, that wasn't the answer. Clearly, that was a no last season when they went out and signed Josh McCown after he got hurt in preseason. So, again, this season, do you think he can be your number 2 quarterback? I don't feel comfortable yet. I still think you might need to draft a guy in the later rounds to add some competition. You still have Kyle Iuta, who the quarterback from Richmond. So a little competition there, but again, you need to find a legit backup quarterback when you have a quarterback like Carson Wentz who has durability issues. The Eagles did also sign Hassan Ridgeway, another defensive tackle who came to us last season from the Indianapolis Colts. He made his contributions with the team, and he will be back next season. All right, notable losses, guys. Of course, Big V is a notable loss here. He is heading to the Detroit Lions, 5-year, $50 million deal, so my man got paid. And of course, when I think of Big V, I cannot help but think about his contributions that he had for the Philadelphia Eagles during that Super Bowl run, and he deserves this deal, honestly, guys. The Eagles are also not bringing back Grugier-Hill, who is heading to the Miami Dolphins with Jordan Howard, who also is heading to the Miami Dolphins. I was a little upset when Jordan Howard left. Now that leaves a question. I want that power back. I really would like the Eagles to find that LeGarrette Blount, that Jordan Howard, because you already have your 1-2 punches in Boston Scott and Miles Sanders, but those are shifty speed guys. I want a guy who, fourth and 1, 4th and 2. Just give that man the ball, and he's going to put them shoulder pads down and get you those 2 yards. I still think the Eagles need to find that, and it might be something that they look for in the draft. But as you clearly hear me saying, there's quite a bit of needs for this Eagles roster, and we will get to that in a second. Last but not least, Corey Clement. This is one that I hold close to the heart. South Jersey native, Glassboro, New Jersey, which is actually where we're recording right now. He won't be coming back as well. As we all know, he had a great 2017 season, not just the Super Bowl in general, but the whole season. He broke out. He wasn't even supposed to even make the roster, but he broke out and he had that Super Bowl performance that we will never forget. But the last 2 seasons has been riddled with injuries, and the Eagles kind of just gave up on the Corey Clement project, and now he needs to find a new home. And where will he go? Honestly, in the comments below, I want to know from you guys, who could possibly take a waiver on Corey Clement? So interesting to note. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, you're really starting to notice that a lot of the guys from that Super Bowl team are starting to make their way out of the Philadelphia Eagles organization. Definitely tough to see. All right, guys, let's look at the roster here for the Philadelphia Eagles in total. Let's start off with the offense, and I want to start, of course, like I mentioned, with the running back position. Again, like Miles Sanders, like Boston Scott, we need that power back. I think we will find that in the draft, however. At the wide receiver position, this is where we have a lot of question marks. I think we need 3 receivers, but in the end, I see them getting possibly 2. I still think they can find a guy here in free agency. Obviously, they failed on trying to get DeAndre Hopkins or Stephon Diggs. I'm hearing OBJ trades. Please don't do that, Howie Roseman. I don't think he's that dumb enough to do that. But you got to think that, look, Alshon Jeffrey, he's got to be gone. You have to believe that he will not suit up for that first game this season. You have to think that Alshon will not be back next season after what transpired last season. He's getting a year older. You need to find reliable wide receivers. Deshaun Jackson, he will be back next season, but again, you cannot rely on him to try to stay healthy throughout a 17 game now season. And honestly, the only guy from last season that I see starting next year is Greg Ward. Really, that's the only guy I really see starting. Greg Ward could possibly be your slot receiver, and you're gonna have to find another outside wide receiver to to complement Deshaun Jackson. And in this free agency, with Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins already getting traded away, AJ Green getting a franchise tag, Amari Cooper getting a ridiculous contract by the Cowboys. Thanks for that team in Washington. Could the Eagles possibly take a flyer on Emmanuel Sanders, who's now 32 years old, but just played for a Super Bowl team, and a Super Bowl contending team, the San Francisco 49ers? He did make about $10 million last season. You're thinking, what, 5 to 7 mil for him this season? That could be a possible waiver guy. I wouldn't want that. Robbie Anderson, guy's got speed. Guy can flat out play. He's got character issues, and he's coming from that dysfunction that has been the New York Jets over the last couple seasons. He might be a little cheaper option, but that's another option there as well. Or maybe a Brashard Perriman, who was labeled a bust until last season with the Bucks. He was serviceable and he had a productive season, and he could be a guy who, now is starting to jumpstart his career, and maybe with Philadelphia playing with a legit quarterback like Carson Wentz, he could have a resurgence of his career. So those are some different options for free agency. Nothing too sexy, but what I'm looking for are guys that have intangibles and have potential, because I truly believe that we have a quarterback that can make other guys better. Look at Carson Wentz in the stretch he had in those final 5 games, making Greg Ward a #1 wide receiver. He made Deontay Burnett a productive receiver. He made Josh Perkins into a productive tight end. So I definitely think Carson Wentz starting to feel his groove. We need someone who can fucking catch the ball, and we need someone who can stretch the field. A young guy who can learn alongside Deshaun Jackson. The Eagles also need a backup offensive tackle. You don't really have anyone behind Lane Johnson, and I don't know if you want to really trust on Jordan Mailata, so a backup tackle is needed for this team as well. On the defensive side, linebackers is a need here. You just got rid of Nigel Bradham and Grugier-Hill. Really, the only guy I can trust going into next season on this roster is Nate Gerry, which I know a lot of Eagles fans are not a big fan of. But listen, Nate Gerry has his moments, and if he possibly plays alongside another good linebacker, then he could possibly be good as well, take some pressure off of him. So you don't have Malcolm Jenkins now anymore, so you can't put him up in the box. The Eagles definitely need to revamp this linebacker core, to say the least. Of course, like we mentioned, the Eagles need 2 cornerbacks, flat out. Need 2 cornerbacks or find a safety that you can put Jalen Mills back out there, but realistically, you want two brand new cornerbacks to fill out this defense here. So with the Philadelphia Eagles, definitely a lot of holes, and I keep hearing rebuilding going on with the Eagles, but listen, this is not a rebuild. This is a retool, because you still have good pieces here. And look, this division has not gotten much better, okay? You still have the potential of making the playoffs next season if Carson Wentz stays healthy throughout the year. It's really the key. The key is just trying to make a better team for Carson Wentz to thrive with, guys. That's all we got to do right now. So with the Eagles, I feel good. I feel optimism. I know some of you guys don't. Just the fact that this is something fresh that's going on. Clearly, Howie Roseman could have signed Malcolm Jenkins and given him the money he wanted to, but realizing the age that he is at this moment, with all the other needs the Eagles have, that was a smart move not re-signing, even though it hurts so bad to see Malcolm Jenkins leave and for him to possibly go back to the New Orleans Saints, a team that I do not care for too much. It's definitely tough, but this offseason is crucial as well to finally see Howie Roseman as a player personnel guy. That has been a question mark of mine since day one with Howie Roseman. When Joe Douglas was here, we saw the difference in the type of players we had, which resulted in a Super Bowl win. So, Howie Roseman, truly and honestly, the clock is on you when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, that's all I got for you here today. The Eagles are really saving our sanity during this coronavirus pandemic. And of course, guys, I got this great studio here for you today. Like, look, we got the link here. I just want to be back home. I just want to be back there. But we're going to get so close. We're going to get through this pandemic, and we're going to be back in there, winning games. That's all I got for you today. In the comments below, you want to talk about anything Philadelphia Eagles, you let me know. Let's talk about this offense. Let's talk about this defense. Let's talk about the fact that Malk is gone. Let's talk about how we feel about Howie Roseman. Do we trust in the Howie still, or do we not? Let me know in the comments below. Of course, guys, reminder again, head on over to PSN to stay up to date with everything Philadelphia sports, including the Philadelphia Eagles. That's really taking up a lot of the time of Philly sports. as always. And of course, guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell button for notifications to help this guy grow here. And until next time, mi gente, go Birds. I'll talk to you soon.